We are joined here with Knight Kiplinger of kiplingers.com talking about the international economy. And I wanted to bring up a point about something you said regarding the strength of U.S. exports. It sounds like a lot of what the U.S. provides is dependent on there being open markets. And I know with the upcoming election, both candidates have been talking a lot about trade deals and what's in the U.S.'s best interest. Put a little bit of that in perspective. What is it that we gain or lose from open trade or free trade or all the sort of trade terms that are circulating around? Give us some idea of what the candidates are talking about.
That's a really good question, Olivier. The United States is the world's leading exporter. Therefore, we benefit from more open economies at our trading partners. The United States is the most open economy. Sure, we have trade barriers of various sorts to other products from around the world, but relative to other nations, we have fewer and lower trade barriers than other nations. Therefore, we have the most to gain from free trade agreements all over the world. We're more open than these other countries. If we can reach an agreement with Colombia, which is pending,
right,
South Korea, which is pending, shore up NAFTA rather than rattle the saber about repealing it, if we can open those other markets to good American products and services, we will benefit. Export-oriented American businesses will benefit, can add jobs, increase production, and that will happen. The problem with free trade, as any economist will tell you, is that the benefits are very broad and diffused and general and not highly visible. The pain of free trade, the downside of free trade, is very focused and specific to particular domestic American industries. We know that an inefficient American industry or American business that can't compete with the better quality or the lower prices of a foreign competitor will suffer from free trade. It will lose jobs. It might have to close. So we know who hurts.
Right.
It's on the evening news. They complain to their politicians on Capitol Hill. The benefits of free trade in inexpensive consumer products, which give the United States the lowest cost of living, lowest cost of consumer goods in the world, those benefits are spread over millions and millions of consumers. So there isn't a great free trade lobby.
Right.
It's not focused. There is a lobby from American labor and industries that are now protected that would be disadvantaged by free trade. There is a lobby for protectionism. Now, during the Democratic primary, a lot of candidates were talking about revisiting NAFTA, rewriting NAFTA. That's not likely to happen because when you look very closely, there are benefits to both Canada and Mexico and the United States, all of them from free trade. For example, it's little known that there's an aspect of NAFTA that guarantees the United States equal access to Canadian petroleum in the event of a global supply disruption or a global emergency. We have the same access to Canadian petroleum from Western Canada that we have to our own petroleum. Well, Canada's having some second thoughts about this.
Right.
With supply, but that's a provision of NAFTA which is very beneficial to the United States. Sure, there are businesses that have suffered from NAFTA, but on balance, NAFTA has created job growth with export-oriented U.S. businesses that sell strongly into Canada and into Mexico. And I think that Barack Obama is reconsidering some of the negative things he said about NAFTA, perhaps to secure the Democratic nomination. Now, as a candidate for the national presidency, he is coming to recognize that it would be treacherous and risky to reopen NAFTA, which is pretty well functioning for Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Make no mistake about it, in a time of economic slowdown, whether in the U.S. or Asia or Europe, industries that feel beleaguered will seek protection from Capitol Hill. One of the worst trade pacts of all time, the Smoot-Hawley tariffs in the United States, were enacted in 1930 on the dawn of the Great Depression. The protectionism of the Smoot-Hawley high tariffs in the United States aggravated global depression, not just in the United States, but all over the world. I think we're smarter than that today. We know that when goods and capital and labor in the form of immigration flow fairly freely around the world, that everybody benefits. Even if there is some short-term localized pain, in the long run, everybody benefits from low trade barriers and a freer flow of goods. And economists have recognized this for a long time. Now we have to make sure the politicians recognize it too.
Right. Well, thank you very much for making free trade something we can all actually understand now.
You're very welcome, Olivier.